Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome, welcome, welcome. This is another episode of COI Live. We are broadcasting from the Empowerment Center in Chippenham. This is the headquarters of the Coalition of Independence. I want to thank the thousands of you who are watching all over the Bahamas and all over the world, and I want to thank those who decided to come and spend their evening with me in studio. We're live in studio, so if you want to come and join us, you're welcome to come and join us in studio. But of course, we are broadcasting live on all our social media pages. That's on YouTube, that's on LinkedIn, that's Facebook, and other pages. So you are free to you're free to join us, all right? And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an interesting one today. We're going to have some conversations that we have been needing to have for a very, very long time. We're going to talk about the Grand Bahama Port Authority. We're going to, and that's the crime of the century. There has been no greater crime in world history than what happened to the Bahamas with the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And at some point, it has to be fixed. And so we're going to talk about that. There are people waiting for my stance on that. Well, today you're going to get my stance on that. And the responses by the government and the opposition. But it is a crime of the century. There has been no, if you add all of the major robberies that they've had in world history together, you won't get to the crime that we've experienced through this Hawksbill Creek Agreement deal that was a real criminal act. And so we're going to talk about that. We also want to touch on this Jeffrey Epstein thing. We cannot let that go because our country has come to embarrassment again. Every time this PLP government gets in power, it's like we get embarrassed, man. Every single time. I mean, we can't even catch a break. And there are people who want more of that. I don't understand it, but if that's what you want, then that's what you vote for, and then don't cry. After that, listen to me carefully. Do not cry. Take what you get. Because if you vote for the FNM, you know what's going to happen. If you vote for the PLP, you know what's going to happen. Don't cry. You just take it. We don't want to see no civil servants out there protesting if they vote for the FNM and allow them to get in. And you know they're for the big oligarchs and Brent Simonet and the Hollow West Coast and all these people. Don't cry, because you voted for that. When you see the same wealthy people getting everything under the FNM, don't cry. You just take it, because you voted for it, you allowed it. If you let the PLP do a second term after failing this first term, listen, don't cry. If you see them fail to bring you to hospital, don't cry. If you can't get medicine and beds and the whole hospital falling apart, if your granny is dying in A&E because she can't get a bed, don't cry, because that's what you voted for. When you cannot get electricity and water and light on your family islands, like Harbor Island has been suffering now for many days, Cat Island has been suffering for many weeks, don't cry, because that's what you voted for. You understand? So you have a chance now to take the country in a new direction that is not focused on the politicians getting rich, but on empowering and benefiting the entire nation, all Bahamians. Together, we rise based on our level. So that's what we're going to talk about, some of that stuff today. It's going to be an interesting conversation because many of you don't know what the real deal was with Grand Bahama, but we're going to get to that. When you hear it, some of it may shock you. In any event, ladies and gentlemen, I want to congratulate our team down there at Killarney, our deputy leader and others. They put on a fabulous show. My Lord, they put on a show. Listen, that opening was fabulous. And so y'all did a good job down there. It was very organized, very coordinated. I want to thank all of you. Listen to me, man. They had, that was some big-time stuff. They had shish kebabs with steak and shrimp, and they had all kind of fancy stuff down there. They were served in real plates, all right? Not paper plates. They were served in real plates. They was drinking out of wine glasses. My Lord, that was a fabulous event, well put together. I'm very proud of everything that they accomplished. And inside the headquarters look like Old Fort Bay, Lyford Key. It looks fabulous. But I also want to congratulate all of our candidates. We are now, as a organization, we are now operating probably about, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, probably 14 or 15 headquarters right now. And we the broke party. Imagine if we had some money. Wow. It's not about how much money you have, it's about what you do with what you have. And so they've been running our country inefficiently, and so we're going to show them how it's done. And so I want to thank everyone who has been making this happen and who have contributed to make this happen. As you can see, we're doing this, like Trump would say, bigly. We're doing this bigly. So I also want to announce that on Thursday, the 19th, I'm going to be participating in a town hall, which is a question and answer period. New Life Church actually invited the leaders of each party to come down and allow the public to question them. And so Michael Pintard was there previously, and now I'm going to be there. I don't know if Brave is going to accept the challenge. I don't know if he did, but I'm going to be there on Thursday. We want all of you to come out, be there, ask me all the questions, the tough questions, the questions that people need to hear. And we can tell you what's our plans for Grand Bahama and the country at large. And we can answer the questions in reference to this. Well, they bringing all kind of snacks and stuff in here. Y'all having another opening, eh? Oh, yeah. Okay. That's some good stuff. Yeah, they bringing all kind of snacks and all kind of stuff coming in. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't plan it. I don't know what they're doing. I just see good stuff coming in the door. So y'all stay home. We can handle this. Just kidding. If you want to come down, you come on down. But of course, I'm going to be there. That's going to be at New Life Church at 7 p.m. on Thursday the 19th. And so make sure that you are there to be a part of this. That's Pastor Cedric Beckles. That's going to be at his church. So we're looking forward to seeing you, to answering your questions, to showing you that we need a new Bahamas. Because the old Bahamas isn't working, it's broken, and the old politicians have been failing us. So they can take that old Bahamas with them and go that way. We are going to move forward, upward, onward together with a brand new Bahamas. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to have a little session here. We're going to take calls today also. And, of course, when we take calls, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But I'm going to take calls in this session here today at the end of it. But I just wanted to have a little conversation now about the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And then we'll get to some other stuff. Let's start there. And if it's too long and we don't get to the other stuff, then so be it. We got some time. All right, we'll cover everything. All right. Just trying to work with this computer. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, you know, everyone has been up in arms over the last few weeks about the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the government's little challenge of the Port Authority saying y'all owe us money and y'all need to pay us money. I want to let you know the genesis of that, the root of it. What happened was we meaning the COI, to Grand Bahama in 2022. And we educated the public. We held 2 town hall meetings in Grand Bahama. And we educated the Bahamian public about what the Bahamas and the Bahamas government, the Bahamian people is entitled to from that Hawksbill Creek Agreement deal. Before that, no one had dared to touch it. No one talked about it. And we were the first to not only talk about it, but to read it to you line by line. We held 2 town hall meetings, and we went through line by line in the agreement, the first time that people had ever read that agreement, and we told the public what this government was entitled to, but the government was not doing their job. And of course, it's because, as was admitted at Edward St. George's funeral, they are taking money, the government has been taking money under the table, meaning political contributions from the port. So since they were taking money from the port, you know what that means? Oh, we're not going to enforce anything. Just make sure we get our campaign contributions, and we don't worry about the rest of what the port is supposed to do. All right? And so that seems to be what has been going on. And so we went there and we educated the Bahamian public, and many persons were in shock. And then afterwards, we saw the government all of a sudden say, hey, the port owes the government money, because that's what they heard us say, and we're gonna demand that they give us money. And they started going in that direction because they saw that it touched a lot of people. People were shocked and surprised at how we had educated the public. And so they tried to use it as some political thing to say that they're fighting the status quo, which they're not. They never intended to win that, I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen where they've justified the $357 million they asked for. $357 million is a drop in the bucket, a joke to what the Bahamian government is owed. That's an insult to what we are owed, all right? We were supposed to get some major money from all of this, and they failed to do their part, all right? I'm trying to open up my document so I can go through this with you. From our notes, my computer decided to not work right now. I don't know what's happening. We had look like a little hack of my phone before we got started, and now the computer isn't working. Okay, I'll get around it somehow. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it's shocking. I want to show you in 2022 that we were there. We called the people out, and the people came out. I'll show you one of our meetings. One of the meetings was at the Belinda Wilson Center. Another meeting we had out in the open around by Frank's Ice Cream. And we went line by line. You got two videos there. You could play them one by one for me, producer. And this is just so you can see that we went there to educate the people. Go ahead, producer. The video. No, the town halls, the FP town halls. The first one, and then one says 3. Hmm? I sent it to you. You didn't get it? Okay, I'm hearing you. I don't know what's happening here because even the computer is going berserk right now. Someone don't want this information to get out here. Someone don't want this information to get out, but they can't stop this. Oh man, it's going berserk. I gotta restart my computer. I don't know what's happening here. Do I? Let's try. Okay, so something's happening. All right, so double check, see if you see it. Okay, no problem. We'll go without that. So basically, I wanted to show you. We don't know what's happening there, but basically, I wanted to show you that we went to do some town hall meetings. But of course, it's still on our page. So you're free to go search on my Facebook page, and you can see where we did these town hall meetings. And okay, I can see where it's sent to you. In your, do you see it? Yeah, I can see where it was sent to you. I'll show you one of them. Okay, you see that? Yeah, that's there's two of them. All right. Within the bond. Which says what they are supposed to do. The Port Authority is supposed to do some things. You notice how when you're supposed to do some things, they come down on you? Yes. When you don't pay your license fee, or when you don't do something, or you don't do certain things, they come down on you, right? Yes. But what if there's some things they supposed to do and they ain't doing it? Well, first and foremost, that means that they in breach. Yes. And what that mean when you're in breach of your contract? Null and void. Who ready to read? All right, my boy getting close. Getting close. You won't miss this. And so I'm reading the part where this is what they supposed to do. I'm reading all the fluff and all that kind of stuff, right? Getting straight to the point. It's on page 4 of that agreement. Now this agreement witnesses in consideration of the premises as follows. Consideration mean whatever you put up for this agreement. Yeah. All right? I might do work, you might do money. That's consideration. I give you land, you give me money. So that's consideration. All right? That means two people supposed to do something. Yeah. And if one person didn't do it, one, either you commit a crime, because that's fraud, like false pretenses, or, worst case scenario, you're in breach of contract. That's clear? Yes. So one of the two things is what the situation is. I leave y'all to judge. So we can read this. It says, it agrees on the premises as follows. The port. So the rest of what they're saying is they're saying that the port is supposed to hire Bahamian born, not paper Bahamian born persons within the port area. The caveat is that, provided that such Bahamian born persons are available and willing to work at competitive wages or salaries and have regard to the persons available, etc., etc. Y'all willing to work, right? Yep. So y'all are supposed to be hired. I could pause right there. I could pause right there. This is a 24-page document. I read 2 pages and y'all mad. I read 2 pages and they mad, Bishop.
Hold on a second, but Lincoln, you know something? You remember I was a police in Bahama, right? Yeah. Lincoln, you're lying. Because they used to pay for our accommodation and all our electricity bill.
And your children education.
Yeah, they used to do it.
They used to.
They might give it a zero, but that is it. That's the agreement.
That's in the agreement, so they used to do it. Because I came here when Ping was in power.
Yeah.
So they was doing it because I didn't have to pay no electricity.
You sure the government wasn't doing it?
I had to pay my
No, because we was at Field Street and staff quarters. So the government, a port authority is paying, and they should put the air conditioning straight through.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that just was a sampling from the live that we did back then. And you can just go on my page and just do a search and search for it, and you can see it and see the full entire thing that we did at the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And it was an eye-opener. for Bahamians, and it was an eye-opener apparently for the government, and they realized that they could go get money from the port, including that money you're supposed to get every year. We exposed that at that rally. No one had ever talked about that. 7.5% is supposed to go to the government, plus 25% of whatever that 7.5% is. It's supposed to go to the government. So 7.5% of whatever the Port Authority makes is supposed to go to the government. But for years, we never heard about this. We never knew that. And so a portion of that, the aragonite dredging and all that kind of stuff was supposed to go to the government. But when you looked at the budget, they would always say income from aragonite, 0. Income from limestone, 0. And so where was this money going and who was it going to? But no one talked about it until we went down there and showed people what was going on. And so I want to thank all of you for helping us to make this happen. My computer just decided to start updating right now. Isn't that annoying? Right now of all times. So we got to wait till that updates. But in the meantime, we were in Grand Bahama educating the Bahamian people. In Grand Bahama, educating them, the government, the port. I even met with the owners of the port. I met with, what's his name? Robert. And so, Robert Haywood. And I met, and it was a wonderful conversation. And basically, from that conversation, he said, wow, this is great ideas that they didn't think of. The Port Authority has the potential to make what, to have the income of a Singapore, which is like $500 billion. But instead, we are sitting down not benefiting because they don't have the vision for this. So I'm going to start from the beginning. But before that, I just want you to see this. While we were over there as the real opposition, fighting for the Bahamian people and the Bahamian government to get what it's supposed to get, Pintard had started with the FNM. And in 2022, at the same time, while we were fighting for Grand Bahama, let me show you, and you can go back to the newspaper reports and search for them and see what they were talking about at the time. Nothing that really seriously affected the Bahamian people. Nothing of importance. Trying to just stay low because he didn't want to offend his financial backers, the big boys. The first thing he did, and you can put this picture up with Pintard that we sent to you. And so, well, this was in September, all right? While we were over there in 2022 fighting for Grand Bahama, Pintard was having news stories like this. Pintard says there's too many frivolous reasons for divorce. That was what he was having press statements about. People have come to forget that. And then they had another one saying that they need to ban pit bulls. And they were talking about dogs and dog rights and banning pit bulls and that kind of stuff. That's what they were talking about while we were fighting for the Bahamian people. While we were fighting to get these shanty towns eradicated. While we jumped on the plane and made to make sure that those immigrants that were flooding this country, that they started to send them back. This is what this man was talking about. Show the next one. Show the next one. Yeah, show the next picture with him. And so in May 2022, while we were over there fighting for the Bahamian people, this fella, this is his first, really one of the first things he did. He says, under my leadership, we support transparency, but we will not support the PLP government in demonizing those who helped the country feed its people during the global pandemic. He's talking about the Hollow West Coast getting that deal. The Hollow West Coast getting that deal where they were paid millions of dollars to distribute food that was bought from the other oligarchs. So that's our money going to the oligarchs, and the oligarch distributing it. And the first thing he did was defend them. Because the government was like, did this happen? Why didn't you use one of the known people who've been feeding people? Walter and Chill feeds 600 people food every day. Every day. other people, Hands for Hunger, all these people. Every day they're feeding people. But Minnis and them, and Pintard and them, decide to give it to Holla Wesco. And he's defending them, but he's saying who helped the country feed its people. How much they donate? How much they got money from us? How much they donate? See, I want y'all to see how y'all being tricked. And people want Red to come back. Will you do it at your own detriment? That's on you. But I just wanted you to see the difference in the COI was out there fighting for the people and issues that really affect us. But they was protecting the rich people and talking about dogs and turtles and things. I don't know. But if that's what you want to vote for, listen, man. You just go and love yourself and don't cry. I don't want no crying if you let the FNM come back or if you let the PLP come back. Y'all heard me, right? Don't cry. Don't cry. Someone says they're already crying now. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Grand Bahama Port Authority gets its power from the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. It was a demonic, evil agreement that I don't think could have happened anywhere else in the world other than some third world banana republic. And even them have more sense than that. This is an instance where a company, so let me say a company, right? A company was given the powers of a government to have power over a whole city. A company was given that kind of power because the founder, Wallace Groves, and whoever was with him, Meyer Lansky and whoever else was there, you know Meyer Lansky was the big gangster at the time. Because they gave $1 million bribe, I think each, to Stafford Sands and Roland Simonet. We had a commission of inquiry on that while the UBP was in power. The British held a commission of inquiry. And it was exposed that those two fellas got $1 million. And I want you to know $1 million in the 1950s is like plenty money today. All right? And so it started with a corrupt, crooked deal. That's how the Hawksbill Creek Agreement started. On that alone, that could be considered null and void. Because it was a crooked, fraudulent deal from the break. You paid off the politician to give you that deal that should not stand in any country. You took away the sovereignty of a nation to say that even today, all these years later, they are arguing about whether the government has rights to deal with utilities or IRCA has rights and this kind of stuff. How can a company tell the government what they can legislate? I don't care what deal you made with the government. That deal was made by act of parliament, and by act of parliament it can be reversed. No parliament can bind a future parliament. This is called parliamentary sovereignty. So I'm educating the people today. And so, at any point, the government could do a new act of parliament and reverse this deal. Because in order for this deal to be legitimate, you didn't just sign the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, you had to table it in the House of Assembly and put it forward as a bill. And then it became an act. And so if it became an act, you can unact it. All right? And so it started with a criminal deal to give these people the power that they have. I think it's time to get this thing right. It's time to reverse that criminal act on the Bahamian people. I see sometimes people compare East End and West End and say, oh, the government shouldn't run the Freeport because look at East End and look at West End and look at how bad they're doing. I wonder if Pintard and the people who said that really driving around Freeport. Freeport is not in the good state that you may think it is. You may still be living in the 60s, Pintard, when you grew up. But this is 2026. And as I drive around Grand Bahama, the Grand Bahama Port Authority has nothing to brag about. As I drive around Freeport, I see nothing in Freeport to smile about. Not one thing. All I see is dredging and billions of dollars being made from dredging every day. Billions of dollars. And it's not going into the economy. That's what I see. And so, you know, I saw Michael Pintard taking up for the Port Authority. Of course, you know, it's alleged that they're going to be giving him money, but you don't have to allege that. They do that every election. I guess they give him more this time so he could beat the PLP. But they always give to the PLP and the FNM. They admitted that live on TV. And so if you're admitting that you pay off the government, that's a problem. That's a problem for every right-thinking Bahamian. So you don't have to do what you have to do. And so then you see all the requirements that was put on them and them not fulfilling those requirements, and then you can deduce why they didn't fulfill those requirements. You're going to start hearing some of those requirements in a minute. But Pintard was making some comments, and I want to say to you that if you don't realize from that Pintard is a puppet for the wealthy, then if you let him get in there, which he won't, don't cry when you see what is happening. Right now, the company is run by the grandchildren now, and they clearly don't have a vision for the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And so the FNM is putting a team together to try to buy the Port Authority. And that's why Pintard stood up in front of that town hall meeting and said, we don't need to touch the Port Authority and the Hawksbill Creek Agreement because they want it to continue. They want the slavery and the slavery mindset to continue. When the port was allowed to happen in that criminal deal, black people had to leave Freeport by 3 p.m. You forget that. Pinlin got locked up in Grand Bahama, standing up for the people. You think Pintard get locked up for you? Or Brave? Pinlin went in there, and they locked him up. He's fought. Because it was a racist regime, and they could actually ban you from Freeport. Did you know that? And they did it. They could ban you from Freeport and say that you can't come in Freeport. Do you know that Freeport was our crown land? They gave our crown land, 50,000 acres of it, was the first tranche, to criminal gangsters fresh out of jail. Fresh out of jail, straight out of jail in America and came over here, Wallace Grove. Fresh out of jail. Worked with Meyer Lansky and those guys because, you know, Cuba was about to fall, so they needed to kind of do something else. Cuba is in uproar. Meyer Lansky was doing criminal stuff in Cuba. And next thing, they were in Grand Bahama. And the Bahamians were mistreated by that racist regime initially. And Pinlin fought. So I just want you to know that. But now we come back to today where both the PLP and FNM are trying to put together arrangements to buy it. So when you heard Brave say they gave them an offer to buy it, he don't mean the government. That's Frankie Wilson them. I want you to understand that. They want to have their own country within a country. They have the power in Grand Bahama because Focal is based in Grand Bahama. That's the Freeport Oil Company. Focal. That's what it stands for. And they were looking to take that over. The FNM, you saw in the papers the other day, well, they didn't say it's the FNM, but of course you saw the names, John Boswick, the granddaughter of Rupert Roberts, and Nicholas Reese. All right? That's the FNM's face, that's what I believe, to get this done. So both of them trying to get this sweetheart deal to continue. Normally the FNM and PLP works together, but somehow both of them trying to go in this separately. They do everything together. Focal is the FNM and PLP. Our home's the FNM and PLP, but on this something is going on. Both of them trying to get their country within a country. All right? Wake up, Bahamas. Wake up. And so you see what's going on. All right? Let's continue. All right, my computer is back up now. Look how long that took. My Lord. Computer is back up. And so now we're here all these years later, and Grand Bahama is not any better because of Freeport. Now, Freeport initially, they did some good infrastructural work. And right now, they're still living off of that old glory. But Freeport has died. It's dead. And in order to resurrect this, we need to remove the cancers. Cancer number 1, the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Cancer number 2, the PLP. Cancer number 3, the FNM. We have to remove all of them in order to make Freeport great again. So I'm going to go over the Hawksbill Creek Agreement that was signed on August 4th, 1955. Just some little notes in there. This is to educate you today. I'm not here to entertain anybody. This ain't no rally. But when you educate the people, you can't trick them no more. And so our job in the COI over these years was to educate you to what you're entitled to. And notice, they could never say that nothing we say is lies. When we went to Freeport and educated the public, the government tried to jump on that wave. But they messed it up because they didn't really know what to do. We know what to do. Get us there and we can fix this. So the original agreement was, so clause 1, I'm not going to put it on the screen, but I'm just going to tell you the clause in case you want to do your research. Clause 1, subsection 1 through 4. They were supposed to, within 3 years, they had a limit, all right? They had to meet the deadline. Within 3 years, the entrance of the channel, the inner channel, and turning the basin into specified dimensions, building a 600-foot wharf and apron, then maintain the port project, keep the channel and turning basin clear, provide navigational aids. I'm reading to you what's in the law, all right? Use best endeavors to promote factories and industrial undertakings in the port area and to responsibly for administrative control of the harbor, wharf, and port facilities and port area development using best endeavors to provide passenger dock space when possible. The original agreement was for them to dredge. Anytime you see development going on in the Bahamas, the first thing you will see them doing is cutting hills or dredging. All right? They're going to do new neighborhoods in areas that have hills because they won't cut the hills down. The money made on the houses they build, that's gravy. That's not the meat. That's icing. That's not the cake. The money is in the raw material. It's in the limestone, which our land is made of. And so that's why you always see, if they're doing a new luxury development, canals. It's not because canals is good. is because they can make so much money from them canals that they don't even need to sell those houses after that. And so that's what Bahamians didn't know. We saw the hills cutting down, you know. Why are they playing with all this dirt? We didn't know the value of the dirt. Why are they cutting down all these hills? We didn't know. We just watched them do it, you know, because we didn't know the value of what we had, so they stole it from us. And so that agreement was for dredging. That's what it was for, the original Hospital Creek agreement. They made it seem like we're gonna give the Bahamas a nice harbor, and you're gonna be able to use that harbor to develop. And in the area around that harbor, we'll encourage some factories to come and do some stuff. So they made it sound good, but it was about the dredging, because that's where the money is. It's about the dredging. All right? It's about the dredging. And so, let me read some more. Clause 1, subsection 5, HUD, that talks about, and these notes that we put together for you. Once the harbor wharf were completed and the first factory or industrial undertaking established, then they had a duty to provide schools and educational facilities, provide basic medical services and facilities, provide rent-free living and office accommodations for government staff stationed in the port area. Stop there. They were supposed to build the schools and pay for the teachers, pay for their housing and utilities, etc. Why? Because you're making billions. Let me put this in perspective for some of you who ain't thinking this through. Vaughn Miller put forward documents that showed that they were taking $5.4 billion worth of limestone out of the country every, basically a year. It was 16 months, so basically a year. But that's the raw value they declare to customs. That's not what they're selling it for. It could sell for twice, 3 times, 10 times that amount. All right? So $5.4 billion isn't where the real money is. All right? It could be $54 billion. Who knows? All right? We don't know what it is. But that's the raw value. So I'm going to stick to the raw value because we know what it is, right? So that's safe. That's $5.4 billion. Our entire year budget is just over $3 billion to cover all of the expenses of the whole entire nation. One company, Bahama, with one natural resource, is taking $5.4 billion. That's the raw value. Now, let's say it's twice that. That's over $11 billion right there. That's our whole country budget wiped out almost. All right? Let's say they were selling it for twice that. Let's say it sells for 3 times that. You doing the math? So, we have more than enough money to take care of ourselves. That's one company, one natural resource. Think about that. And so, obviously, if you could be making that much money, obviously the government is going to say, okay, you pay for the schools, you pay for the teachers, you pay for this, you pay for that. When we need police officers in there, you pay for the police, pay for their housing. You heard Maria say that they used to do it at one point. All right? But you pay for the police, pay for their housing, pay for their utilities, all this kind of stuff. You do this. You pay for the hospital. You pay for the nurses, the doctors. They were supposed to do that. That's nothing to ask because Freeport was making, technically, even though we don't see it in our GDP or in our budgets, Freeport was making more than the entire nation. That one company, $5.4 billion, one, that ain't Freeport. That's just that one company. In partnership with Grandma and Port Authority, was making more than our whole country. So if we had to pay for our teachers, nurses, civil, and there's also civil servants. So any civil servant, government workers, customs, immigration, anyone, government officers, they're supposed to pay for the offices too. This makes you know that they knew how much money was going to be made. But you know what our politicians told us? No natural resources in the Bahamas. They lied to you. This is what's important. They're having arguments right now over nothing. About, oh, the government win, the port win, the government win, the port win. No, the people lose. Because they've been lying to you. This is the crime of the century. And so, let me keep reading. Also, so provide facilities and office accommodations for government and staff stationed in the port area, and reimburse the government annual costs of those governmental services plus 25% overhead. So they were supposed to pay for all the government workers' housing, all that kind of stuff, and then for the services itself, they're supposed to pay the government for those services. All right? And plus 25% extra on top of the cost of all of those services. All right? And this is what was apparently not being done, or was being done and we didn't know about it. And this is why we need our Freedom of Information Act. Within the first month of us coming to office, we gotta have a proper working Freedom of Information Act. They were supposed to, and this is subsection 6 of clause 1, supply government offices accommodations with utilities at agreed rates, construct and operate utilities safely, comply with the civil aviation law if engaged in aviation activities. So, in other words, they were supposed to create the utility and give it to the government for free. And to all the staff. So if you work for government in Grand Bahama and you had to pay light bill, they owe you. We can make them pay. So like in Anagua, the agreement that they had with Morton was they built the utility and they provide electricity. No big deal. In Grand Bahama, they were supposed to do the same thing. They were supposed to build the utilities. That wasn't about being for profit. That was about for providing electrical needs, water needs, etc., for this thing that they were establishing. And they were supposed to give it to the civil servants and all those connected to government for free. This is in writing. All right? That's an epic failure on that. They were supposed to employ and train Bahamian-born persons, not paper Bahamians, not naturalized Bahamians. They were supposed to employ and train Bahamian-born persons and acquire licenses to covenant similarly and ensure buildings, machineries, and installations are safe and sanitation is properly maintained. And the buildings maintained. And buildings running down in Grand Bahama. Everything is falling apart. So I want you to know what the agreement was. All right? They had compliance duties with telecommunications and all that kind of stuff. I'll skip through that. They were supposed to build. Now, initially, this was for dredging. Then it went into owning a bunch of land and developing the land and selling leased land. Before I die, I could try to figure that one out. You lease a car, and then you sell it. You lease a property, and then you sell it. You lease a condo, and then you sell it. By the way, the port pays no property taxes. They're exempt. But you do. And they can take everything from you if you don't pay it. But anyway, let's go back. Let's dive back in. They were supposed to build or procure by the 31st of December 1963 a first-class deluxe resort hotel with at least 200 rooms and reasonable amenities, furnish it to that standard, and operate it to the highest standards reasonably obtainable for similar U.S. resort hotels. So they went and made it, after they had started digging their thing, they went back and said, hey, we want to change this. We want to do a hotel. So you came in talking about dredging. Then you come back talking about hotel and subdivisions. And so it keep changing. So why is it that they can come and alter this to get what they want, but we can't come and renegotiate to get what benefits the Bahamian people? It coming. Because when we take over, the first people we can meet with is the Port Authority. And we can make them an offer they can't refuse. And we can fix Grand Bahama, and we can make it great again. All right, and so there was a bunch of other stuff that they had to do. The agreement was redone again in 1965 because it switched now from dredging to they want a high-end luxury hotel. It's the same deal. Now they're modifying it, you know. They keep saying, we want this, we want that. Because this was really was about. They made the money dredging, then they say, okay, we're going to build a hotel, luxury hotel. Then they came back in 65 and say, hey, let's renegotiate again. So they had another amendment agreed on March 1st, 1966, as clause 1, subsection 1 and 2 of this amendment, to construct or procure low and middle income houses in the port area for owner-occupiers with housing minister approval on sitting design, etc. All right? Liability initially capped at 1,000 houses. So they said they wanted to build 1,000 houses at least. All right? At least. And so, they were going to build the first 200 in 18 months. Pinta today building 2,000 houses. I guess him and Rick Fox. All right? So that's what it evolved to. You see how this is evolving? They came to dredge. Thank you so much. Say, working me hard. Thank you. Yeah, we good. All right, perfect. My hands free. Oh, yeah. Now they're in trouble. This was also part of the deal. When required by the education ministers' first and second notices, construct or procure the required primary schools on the required sites and standards, complete them within the specified times, and lease in port areas schools and their sites, etc. Listen, the Minister of Education could demand, we need you to build a school. We want you to build it here. And they were supposed to build those schools. Pay the teachers, pay the utilities, etc. Why? Because they were making so much money that that's only reasonable. Wouldn't you say? Yeah. They were supposed to provide, okay, this is going into what they were supposed to provide with the, what's this one for? No, we don't want to, yeah, I don't put this up, that's fine. So all of this they were supposed to provide, all right? So I'm just going to cap it off here to say that over time, they were supposed to provide more and more. Then there was another agreement in 1994, all right, where they made some adjustments, all right? They had some obligations because of the adjustments they wanted to make more money. So this agreement now brought in the Grand Bahama Development Company along with the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and they jointly had some responsibilities here. So they make up some other company, and they play these tricks. They were supposed to build a justice center at a minimum cost of $2 million, contribute $7 million in 2 installments by February 15th of 1994 and the 1st of August 1994, all right, towards 2 government-built high schools on donated sites, and pay $500,000 annually for 5 years towards government administrative expenses with a 5th-year review. This is an additional thing that they now negotiated. And so they now started trying to use the new FNM government that they put in power to start trying to shift what their responsibilities is. You see? You saw how they put some caps on some things there? So they used the new government that they did fund to do some things. All right? They were supposed to, by 1996, complete a children's library and then maintain it reasonably. Fund and by 1995 establish an arts and craft teaching center and maintain it. Construct a modern track and field facility by 1996. And within 90 days of signing, build the produce vendors complex with costs shared equally with the government for that one. All these things they were supposed to do. All right? And so by 1996, they were supposed to pay for, assume responsibility for, and upgrade the potable water distribution system in 8 Mile Rock and the Western settlements, promote home porting, and a container port facility. Build beachfront cottages, beachfront cottages, to encourage second home investment, assist in creating local government in Grand Bahama, and donate land in the port area for a new hospital. We didn't see that yet. Promote an international university, carry out measures to address beach erosion. Which international university in Grand Bahama? So they fail on that. Okay. Conduct a feasibility study on water allocation for development, introduce additional environmental frameworks, and update the master land use plan for the port area. Establish an organization to promote Grand Bahama internationally, upgrade Freeport as a garden city under the government's Beautiful Bahamas program. Assume maintenance, upkeep of Queens Highway in the port area from High Rock Settlement to 8 Mile Rock. And donate adequate land for a police headquarters in the port area. Separate 1993 extension of the Tax Exempt Period Act, extended to agreements expiring tax exemption for 22 years. But it did not create a new Grand Bahama Port Authority work schedule. The 1994 agreement is the instrument that tied the continued real property tax exemption to the listed development obligations above. And so they wanted more tax exemption in 1994. They wanted to increase that. And so in order to get that, Ingram said, okay, do these little stuff here so it could look like you're getting, you're giving something back, or that the country benefiting something. Make it look good. If the Port Authority, let me say this clearly and look straight in the camera when I say this. If the port area is tax exempt, which means there's supposed to be no government taxes paid, so that's customs duty. You don't pay that in the port area, right? Real property tax, you don't pay that in the port area, right? Okay. How are Bahamians paying VAT tax in the port area? every Bahamian who paid VAT was robbed. Because you're VAT exempt. Now, if you could just change this agreement willy-nilly whenever you want, for whatever purpose you want, then you don't really have an agreement. If you keep changing it to benefit whoever every time, you don't really have an agreement. That's not a real agreement. Grand Bahama should not be paying VAT. Why is no one talking about that? Thank you. You said it. She said before, because they crooks. I didn't say it, she said it. Now I'll say it, because they crooks. All right? All right, so there's a lot more that I could go into, but for the sake of time, I won't go into all this in this one sitting. But I just want you to understand how much they were getting and how they came in. And you know how they say you boil a frog, you just piece by piece, you keep increasing. So they'll always come in, just like Oban. Remember Oban was coming in? And they would, Pintard and Minister met with them, and they were talking about this facility, and they were dealing with oil, etc. But when you looked at the deal itself, the whole deal was just about property, them getting our crown land, and them building development. So how you going from oil to development, getting our crown land? That was a snatch and grab. Grab the properties and break off running. But that got foiled. God didn't let them do what they wanted to do. And so when the FNM is talking about the corruption of the PLP, and they had both corrupt, do you forget about Oban? Do you think we forgot about Oban? Working again with a criminal fraudster to take our crown land. Yes, they are criminals too. It's a shame. And so this is where we are. We are left with Grand Bahama, the island that has the most potential in the entire Western Hemisphere, because it is in the mouth of America. Bimini is a little closer, but Bimini has small space. They don't have much they could do there. Grand Bahama has everything. And it is the way it is. And Grand Bahamians want to vote for the PLP again? Grand Bahamians want to vote for the FNM again? I don't know. Well, Brave Davis say eat ground beef, eh? Yeah. What it was the FNM had said corned beef. They had to keep your corned beef protest. And then Brave come and say eat ground beef. Because so this is where we are with the Port Authority. Now let's talk about vision. The Grand Bahama Port Authority should be better off than it is. That should be one of the biggest companies in the world. They got the kind of deal, this only happened one other time in the world, you know. One other time in the world that something like this happened. And it was called the East India Company. All right? The East India Company was the company that Britain used, and it would send to colonize places, but Britain would operate as a corporation and not a government. You see? And they would take the resources and do trade, etc., as a company. and not as a government. You see? So government debt and all that kind of stuff don't affect what they're doing. And their sovereignty, etc., don't affect what they're doing. And if they do some bad things, oh, that's the company do that. Oh, bad company. But our government, we're good. But no one knew what was going on, because back then you could hide behind companies, even though it's still happening today. Dubai and them, they learned from that, and when they wanted to take their broke, bankrupt countries and develop it, they formed companies. And so your country could be $20 billion in debt, but that company has zero debt. It's starting from nowhere, and it does what you want it to do, and the country's debt doesn't affect it. You see the trick here? And so they operate based on the companies, and they use some of the sovereign assets to put in that company to build it up and give it what it needs to start doing what it does. We're going to do the same thing. Now, you know you can hear the PLP and FNM talking about this in a minute. Good. And so don't worry that we're in debt. We can deal with that. But we're going to form separate companies to do the things we need to do. Now back to Grand Bahama. We're going to make them an offer they can't refuse. And we are going to take over Freeport. Freeport. Yeah, you can clap there. All right. When Freeport started, there were only 2 free trade zones in the world. Now there are hundreds in China alone. And they had no competition. And this is the conversation that I had with I think it's Rupert Haywood. And he said, so they don't really know what to do now, because they have so much competition. They don't have the advantage they used to have. I said the advantage is not in being a free port, a free trade zone. The advantage is being in the mouth of America. Singapore became great with no natural resources because it's in the mouth of Asia. And you had to go through Singapore to get to Asia. Japan became great because it was in the mouth of China, and you literally had to go through Japan to get to China. The Bahamas is great, should be great, because it's in the mouth of America. Every ship that comes and wants to go to America stops in Freeport, changes container, and then that's a hub. And then another ship takes that container to America. Why we poor? Why we broke? And so America has the biggest economy in the world. Everything going to them from this side of the world goes through us. And we poor. We begging. And so we have a real vision for Grand Bahama. One, we're going to have a free port. Listen, Panama is a joke compared to what we plan for Grand Bahama. It's a joke. You fellas walking in the door, they come for food. Listen, we're going to have a free trade zone here. And you know people go to Panama to shop? You know that? That's because it's a free trade zone. They bring the stuff in from China. And yeah, I've been a lot. And people go there to shop. Why don't we have a free trade zone where people can come here to shop? Our sovereign wealth fund could own it so all of us benefit. And we can set up warehouses, specialize in certain products, and people from around the world come to the Bahamas to shop. Americans will come, companies will come here to shop, because it's cheaper to come here than to go all the way to China. They're literally right next door, and the shipping is fast. Not like Panama or China. The shipping, we're right next door. And so we're going to be able to start warehouses that people want to buy their clothing, their shoes, and all manner of items, wholesale supplies, etc., that is sourced from around the world, but it comes here, and it's a free trade zone. No duty or any of that stuff on that stuff, but we'll make the money from it. So definitely no duty on it because the sovereign wealth fund is making actual money from it. All right, and we can make it so cheap that Panama and them can't compete with that. All right. So on top of that, companies like Walmart, Home Depot, etc., when they bring their stuff from around the world, including China, they can park that stuff right here in the Bahamas, in our warehouse in Freeport, and not have to pay duty for it immediately. They have to bring in big inventory from China, and then they have to pay customs immediately on all that big inventory. So if they bought $1 billion worth of stuff, they got to pay $1 billion worth of customs duty. So let's say it's 25%. That's $200 to $250 million they got to cough up to clear their stuff. But what if they could just store it in the free trade zone, and when they need it, only bring over what they need? Bring in $10 million worth of stuff this week to supply the stores. It gets there by the next day because it's right across the water, and then they could truck it to wherever they want. That's a huge benefit for them. You see? And you can charge them based on the money they're saving by not having to bring all their stuff one time, one. Two, have the stuff here and ready. When there was the shipping bottleneck, and there still is some to a certain extent, if we had warehousing here in the Bahamas, they only had to ship the stuff right over there, right across the water, across the channel, and they didn't have to worry about that bottleneck. They don't have to worry about 2 months to wait for stuff to come from China. We can change the game for them. The Bahamas can benefit from an actual free port that works. And so Walmart would do that in a heartbeat. And if you charge them a percentage of what they would be saving, they would do that in a heartbeat. They wouldn't even think about it. And we would own that collectively as a people because the Sovereign Wealth Fund would own it. And a company would be formed to do just that. And of course, Bahamians would be allowed to have shares in it just because you're Bahamian. Your birth certificate does it. Birth certificate does it. So that means Pintad can't get it because he can't produce his birth certificate. But your birth certificate will do it. Just because you're a Bahamian. And you'll be able to buy more shares in it too. And now you're making money from what's happening in the country. And as you make money now, you will be able to go into businesses that we need for the free trade zone and for whatever. You can be able to start your warehouses and you can build it up. You can supply things that we need for that. You may want to sell paper to the warehouses because they got to do a lot of paperwork, etc. See, there's offshoots from everything you do. You might want to go in a trucking company. You might want to go into heavy equipment, you see? And so now you'll have monies from that, from the profits that you make and from your benefits from your sovereign wealth fund. And so this is exponential. And so that's two of the things. Next, we're going into shipping. All right? MSC started with one rickety boat that they leased. One. And now they have over 900, almost 1,000 boats that they ship to this side of the world from anywhere in the world, mostly in the East. And they are making billions and billions of dollars. Billions. Mercer's another company that started small and did the same thing. Why aren't we in the shipping business when every container that goes to America has to come to us? Why aren't we? Where were our forefathers' vision? They're sitting now waiting for a foreign investor to do everything and think of everything. Okay, Japan became great. We're having a conversation today, class in session, all right? Japan became great because in order to get to China, mostly there was coal ships. Ships were powered by coal at the time. And so you went to Japan to restock your coal, all right? And then Japan would sell you the coal, and then you could continue your journey over to China. Because of that, the coal industry and selling you coal, they built up their entire economy because the coal was there, people had to supply to the offices and everything else that was going on. And what they did was they invested in their people. Education. They focused on that hard. They built up their people. That's what Japan did. And Japan went from a country of nobodies, a small, broke country, not with natural resources, but because they were in the mouth of China, they invested in their people, and that built up Japan. They built themselves up, especially with education, to the point where Japan was one of only 2 countries that was not colonized. They actually became colonizers, because they actually at one point colonized Korea, all right? And they became colonizers. And what they did was they used their leverage. Power is in leverage. Always negotiate from a position of power. No one could colonize Japan because everyone needed Japan. And so the powerful countries, America, Russia, it was the USSR at the time, Germany, etc., whenever one tried to take over Japan, Japan would say, hey, America, Britain is here, and they are saying that, and America would say, hey, Britain, stop it. No, you don't touch Japan. Japan is off limits. Or Russia would show up, and Japan would say, hey, Britain, Russia has showed up, and they're saying we have to bow to them, and, oh, Russia, stop it. Don't you dare. You start a world war. And so that protected them because everyone needed them. You see? And so they understood their leverage. And, of course, they became the number 2 economy in the world in short order. All right? Now, they was bombed to make sure they knew their place. But they still recovered from that and became, can you imagine coming from nothing and then getting bombed to smithereens and then becoming the number 2 economy in the world? That's knowing your leverage. Singapore did the same thing. 1 in 6 households in Singapore has $1 million in the bank, not worth. Like when we declare for election, we declare our worth. The car worth this, the house worth that, so you worth $2 million. No. They have cash in the bank. And the 5 out of 6 that don't have $1 million in the bank, that's the people who come over to work for them. They're the citizens. The citizens are wealthy. Singapore went from a developing nation to a developed nation by empowering their people. And their people provide what the country needs, the vision, because it's in all of us. And that's what our mission is about. And so in order to get to Asia, you had to come into Singapore and refuel. And so Singapore went into the providing fuel business, even refining. And so when you came into that area, you had to come to Singapore, refuel your ship, it became a hub, and then you go over to Asia. And they used that to become a great, great nation. We are in the mouth of America. Asia wasn't wealthy at the time. China wasn't wealthy at the time when Japan used it to rise. We're in the mouth of America. And we're going to continue to sit down and let these no-vision, non-compass mentis we call politicians keep us back. It's time to rise, Bahamas. And so those 2 things alone transforms Grand Bahama, the port. And there's so much more that we can do there. There's so much more plans that we have there, including making that a cruise ship hub over there in West End area. There's so much more that can be done. We can go into cheap electricity, because Focal won't be in control no more of the oil, to the power company, because we're going to use alternative power like China is doing. China went into alternative power, solar. That's why they're so big on solar. They went into solar, hydro, with dams, etc. They built a lot of dams so that they could go into manufacturing. The reason we can't go into manufacturing and the reason they couldn't really keep up their promise at the port is because electricity is too high. All right? That's the major problem. Electricity is a major cost in manufacturing. So we have to go alternative to bring down the cost of electricity. In fact, China uses their rivers, canals, that kind of stuff. We have unused canals in Grand Bahama that they could get power from, straight through. Unused canals. They already dug it, they made the money from it, now we can put it to use, all right, and use power to encourage manufacturers to come in. And we can go into manufacturing. We can go into processing. What China did is it went into the businesses that and industries that they had the supplies for already to make it simple and easy. They had control of rare earth, so they went into things that was connected to rare earth. They had a lock on a certain market, so they went into solar. They controlled solar. They went into EVs, electric vehicles, because of what they had control of. And so you look at what you have, and then you see what you could make from it to make money for your country. And that's how you determine what you're going to do. Now, what do we have? Lots and lots of sand. More sand than anyone else in the world. Why aren't we doing things that you can make money from with sand? We can sell the raw sand. Yeah, you can make a certain amount of money from that. But we can process that. It doesn't take much. Why aren't we in the glass business? Why isn't the whole world coming to the Bahamas for our glass? Why aren't they doing that? Why aren't we in the glass business? Why aren't we in the chip business? When Biden took over, he realized that the biggest problem America had was they were running out of chips. All right? That's chips like in your computers, your phones, etc., microchips. And if we had partnered with a chip maker from around the world and brought a chip maker here to Grand Bahama, we got the sand right there that they need to make chips. We could have been sending chips to America and the rest of the world, making billions. But no, hey, we just want the politicians who talking about fixing pothole. That's the vision, hey. Paving road. Oh, building clinic. Patching what? Yeah, patching up the road. That's what we want. No, it's time for a new vision. We've been robbed by this Port Authority situation. We've been robbed. It is a crime of the century. Trillions of dollars have been made over the last 71 years. All right? August will make 71. Trillions of dollars have been made. What did we get from it? Nada. And some people are ready to vote to continue that. Well, I'm tired. I ain't vote for that no more. I had enough of that. I've had enough of that. I said we can talk about some other things, but I want to leave it right here. Let's focus on this today. I want to open the phone lines and open up. You can set up the mic for the audience, please. I want to leave it there today, and we're going to continue our conversation with the Grand Bahama situation while we take calls, etc., and add you in here. All right. The call-in number is 803-5995. Producer, if you could put it up on the screen. If those in the chat box could just put it in the chat box, please do. 803-5995, and you can call in. Let me make sure this is up and running. Okay, 803-5995. You can WhatsApp call or regular call. I can only take one call at a time. Once I'm on the phone, I can't answer someone else, all right? So 803-5995. What do you think about this whole port deal? What do you think about the PLP and FNM now in a plot to buy the port and continue this instead of getting rid of it? It's like the Quieting Titles Act. It was another crime of the century that the UBP used. They knew they were losing and about to lose, so they used it to steal land, all right? It was to steal land in order to have more votes. It was to steal land to own more land. and it was because they know they were about to lose. But coming right now, when the black government got in, instead of getting rid of that, they continued it. And they started using it to take people land. Y'all see Keith Bell all over the place? All over the place messing with Bahamians. We got something for him in a minute. You had a question? Okay, he asked me what these big rocks and stuff is all about on the stage. 803-5995 is the number for persons who want to call in. All right, these rocks are pretty interesting. Again, these were rocks that we found. We haven't had a chance to test them yet, but we believe that this one is granite. We put it hold the line one sec, caller, in ChatGDP, and they identified it as granite, but we haven't tested it yet. But we know there's granite in Andros and in Maguana for sure. And this came from Andros. And then the other one is either quartz or calcite. These are our natural resources. And so you can make money from raw natural resources like Australia does. They just sell raw natural resources and they make money. Or you can process the natural resources and make more money. I've told you what processing is any upgrade you do to it, any value you add to something by doing something to it. So I gave you an example. In the food store, when the watermelons are about to go bad, they cut them up and they sell it for even more than they could have sold the whole watermelon. So if a watermelon is, I don't know how much it costs. I don't even look at the prices. $10, okay, it's $10, $11. They will cut it up and sell you one little cup like this, one little container for $5 something, all right, for that, all right? And so they're actually gonna make from that same watermelon, they probably gonna make, probably $100. I just call it numbers, don't hold me to that. But they can make a lot more money, all right? And so that's processing because they cut it up. And so that's how processing works. Because that's simple. If you take a piece of wood and turn it into a figurine like you saw me do the other day and sell it in the straw market, that was processing. You turn a piece of wood into a little figurine. That's processing. All right? Taking sand and turning it into glass is processing. So once you put it through any kind of process to improve on it, you can sell it for more money. So that's what we can also do. So initially we're going to sell raw. They say, oh, Lincoln Nick say, you think he's going to make money just selling sand? Yes, we are. But also processing the sand into what we need to do with it. And that's what we have to do. So that's really the basis of this here. I want to remind you of what we have. Everything that you see was made from something. And they have to use base materials to make certain things. There are thousands of products made from crude oil. Some of the clothes you're wearing is made from crude oil. You didn't know that. Some of your medicine is made from crude oil. It's just a base material that they use to create another product. Sand is the same way. Sand is a base material that they use to create whatever else they need to create from it. All right? So the paint, the cement, etc., that's made from sand. We should be leading the world in cement. We got the lime, we got the limestone, we got the sand, we got everything we need. Why isn't the world buying sand from us? Why aren't they buying cement from us? Why aren't they getting salt from us? We could be the leader of salt in the world. Everyone uses salt every single day. Either you eat it or you drink it. Everything you drink or eat got sodium in it. All right? Yes, the place was no. So there is so much potential, all right, in what could be done and what we could do. But the problem is not that the country is broke. Like Sam Walton, who created Walmart, said, the money is not the problem, vision is the problem. All right? So let me take another call. And any one of our candidates who are here and you want to come up on stage with me, please do so. Y'all share that seat right there. All right? Anyone who wants to come up, you can be a part of the conversation. All right, so let's go to the phone lines. Caller, you live. Go ahead.
All right, a pleasant good evening, Mr. Bain. How are you?
Awesome.
Great. I have a two-part question for you because I would like to definitely hear your feedback on what's happening right now in the Middle East and how is that going to affect us. I'm understanding that the gas prices with the war and all of this, how does that affect us, and what is your solution to counteract this if you were in the position as the president? And then I have a second question. You can answer
Okay.
that first one?
Yeah, man, of course. And so what's happening in the Middle East right now is the burgeoning of a World War III potential if other persons choose or have a reason to jump in. All right? And so it's going to depend on certain things whether that's going to turn into World War III. It's a regional war right now, which is very dangerous, but it could jump into something bigger because of what's at stake. So you talked about the gas prices, etc. Gas prices is going to affect our economy because it's going to raise the price of oil. Now, when I say that, I mean the war is going to raise the price of oil, which will raise the price of gas. Shipping needs fuel, all right? And that's gas, diesel, every other type of fuel. Shipping needs fuel. And so in order to move products, it's going to be more expensive to do so. So it's going to be more expensive for Super Value to get their stuff from the dock to their warehouse. It's going to be more expensive to get the stuff from the warehouse to their store. And so they're going to put that price in the product, all right? If fuel is more expensive, electricity is going to be more expensive because we're dependent on that. If electricity goes up, the fuel cost of electricity goes up, which we have experienced already, Super Value is going to put that price in the food. And so you're going to pay for that in your apple, in your biscuit, in your rice, in your grits. All right? And so that's how it's going to affect us. That's a major way that it's going to affect us. And we have to be ready to blunt that cost. And this is one of the reasons that we as a nation should be feeding ourselves. That's the first thing. All right? Now, if I were a prime minister, I would not be worrying about the price of oil going up. I heard the FNM talking about they had a hedge in place. So a hedge means that you buy a bulk order, or you promise to buy a bulk order, and so you will pay your oil at that level for a certain period of time. So if it goes up during that period of time, you save money. But if it goes down during that period of time, you lose money. So that's a hedge. So you could win or lose. And the FNM and them are talking about that, but oil prices actually went down since they were talking about that hedge. All right? It's now going up because of this war. But they know Bahamians don't really know what's going on, so they're just gonna say anything. It went down for a period, I should say. All right? Now, let me tell you why the COI government would not be having these worries. Because I am a certified trader. I'm certified to trade in commodities, forex, that kind of stuff. I love to observe stocks and that kind of stuff. From the war started, the first thing I would have said was, it's time to buy oil. So if you have a sovereign wealth fund or government budget for trading, and you see Trump is picking fights, then you say, hey, if he touches the Middle East, if he touches it, oil is going to go up. So if oil is at $50 when the trouble starts, and you take $1 billion and you buy oil as a commodity, right? And you buy oil, guess what? In one night, boom, that turns into $2 billion. Because it go on to 100. You see? Just like that, you got free money. And you can use that free money to subsidize the fuel industry, the cost of fuel in this country. You see? This is a kind of knowledge that the poet doesn't have and Brave doesn't have. All right? But I have international experience. I was in the manufacturing business manufacturing medical supplies and shoes. And the first thing I had to worry about was the price of oil. I had to watch it all the time. You know why? Because those supplies, plastics, are made from crude oil. And so if the price of oil goes up, the price of your product is going to go up. So I had to watch that. That's experience that I have. You understand? And so this is the next part of how it's going to affect us. It's going to cause the products you use every day, the price of them is going to go up, not just from shipping them, moving them, and the fuel costs, but the material is going to be more expensive for them. The mask that you use when you have asthma in the hospital, the needle that you use, all the plastics that you're using, crude oil is used for a lot of these products. Go and Google the different products that is made from crude oil. It will blow your mind. And that's going to cause the price of everything to go up. So when the price of a barrel of oil goes up, that's not just about fuel, because they make thousands of products that you use every day from crude oil. And so that's how serious this is. All right? But Caterpillar is a famous company. They do tractors, etc. Right? And so Caterpillar was having problems, financial problems, serious financial problems, and they were running out of money. And one of their executives he makes money from trading, so he said, why don't we use some of the profits that we have left, that we do have, and trade it? They made billions of dollars from trading on the markets. And now trading is a part of how they make money, how they make profits. So when you look at their declaration, a part of it is trading. That saved their company. Not selling tractors, but the money they made from trading. And so a lot of companies started to do the same thing. And countries started to do the same thing. But see, they don't educate us about financial matters because they want us to stay poor. They don't want us to see on this level. But the wealthy make money from trading. That's how they make money, not from selling a product. All right? And so your company is actually not valuable in America till you trade it on the stock market, have an IPO. All right? And so during the lockdowns, while other countries were borrowing like crazy, Norway made about $250 to $280 billion. Not selling a dollar of oil. They made that from trading with their sovereign wealth fund. That's free money. They said, okay, we could be locked down, so companies that have cheap stuff, they're going to go up, so let's buy that. Companies that are transporting stuff like Uber or whatever, let's buy into those things. Jewelry stuff, we're not going to fool with that because people won't have that extra money. And so Amazon, let's buy Amazon because everyone's going to be using it. And that's what they did. They made $280 billion from nowhere. And so while other countries was borrowing and begging, they didn't even flinch. And so you talked about one of the things that we can do. We are going to, of course, with experts, and of course you've seen me interview an expert from Merrill Lynch on one of my lives to talk about this kind of stuff. We're going to be ready to start doing something with our money as a people. Investing our money as a people with the sovereign wealth fund so that we can move to the next level, and it can buttress us from all of this. Last thing I want to say on that, I know it's a long answer, but I think we need to have these kinds of conversations, and people don't really ask me these kinds of questions. I guess they don't think I know about it. There's very little you could ask me, but I have a lot of life experience. There's very little you could ask me about it I don't know from an experience standpoint. The next thing is the stock market crashed when the war started. Y'all notice that? But I can guarantee you one thing, the net worth of a lot of wealthy people skyrocketed. Can anyone tell me why? Someone say, because everything going up. She said, say they invested in what? She said they invested when the stock market crashed. That's a half answer. Let me tell you how this works. In trading, you make money when the market goes up or when it goes down. You have to say that it's going up in order to make money when it goes up. All right? That's called buying. And you can make money when it goes down, which is called selling. All right? Or it's called shorting the market. All right? Shorting the market means that you short sell, meaning that you're saying that the market is going to go down. All right? Or the company or whatever you invest in is going to go down. Most of the big investors who made big money, like Ray Dalio, Warren Buffett, and these kind of guys, they made money when it went down. Because it's easier to predict when something is going to go down than when it goes up. So if you know that Trump is picking a fight and the market is going to go down, then what do? You sell. You sell. All right? You're buying, but they call it selling. All right? I know it's confusing. All right? You're buying the stocks, but you're short selling it. And so anyone who is smart would have made a lot of money by saying, oh, Trump picking a fight? Oh, yeah, short the markets because it's going to go down. So you notice the big business people aren't crying because the market went down. You see them crying? You see them saying, Trump, stop, stop, stop. No, they're saying, go, Trump, go, go. These are the conversations that our politicians don't have. They can't have it. All right? And so that's why we're having class today. And so with these kinds of things, our country can make additional revenue, additional funding through our sovereign wealth fund. It's not the country itself that's going to do it. You'll have, and it won't be the government running none of this stuff that I'm saying. You won't have any government hands. It'll be run privately by professionals, real professionals, who can get this stuff done. All right, just to be clear. And so the market going down shouldn't affect us if we have a wise government. We saw an example of this in the Bible story of Joseph. The market was going to be up, and then it was going to go down. When they made the money? When the market went down. Because during the 7 good years, they stockpiled, and then during the 7 bad years, they sold to everyone else. All right? And so that's an example of how a wise and smart government would know how to do this. The markets crash every 7 to 10 years. Every 7 to 10 years, the economies crash. And it's man-made, actually. If you look at the cycle, if you go down I'll start from 1992, but you can do this back to history. In 1992, the market, there was a recession, all right? The Iraq War caused a recession. They thought it was going to be World War III. In 2002, there was another recession. 9/11 caused that, all right? Shortly after that, well, it was 2001, but shortly after that, there was, and the first one was 91, not 92, and then the crash was 2001 with 9/11. And then shortly after that, in 2008, 7 years later, after 2001, there was the start of the Great Recession, all right? And that was because of the housing and the stuff that they did, the bubble that happened. And so that's how this worked. And so everyone who knows trading, etc., should have expected that if in 2008, and it extended to 2010, right? That's how long it lasted. So by 2020, something else man-made should have come up to cause another break in the economies. And so COVID came up, and in 2020, it broke the economy again. And so either 7 years from then or 10 years from then, something else man-made is going to come up to cause another break. And it cleanses the economies, and it causes those who broke and trying to get up, it crashes them and causes them to go back down. All right, and it keeps whoever is up. And whoever has cash at the time, like in the Joseph thing, whoever has it, they are the ones who are going to continue. China sat down waiting, and they waited for the Great Recession and they waited for the 2020 because they had all the cash, and they rose because of understanding this flow. When the COI gets in, you're going to have a government that understands this flow and understands how to benefit from what's going on. Lord, I gave you the longest answer to a short question in the history of the world. But I think Bahamians need to understand that, because Bahamians only hear us talking about certain things. They say we focus on immigration, we focus on natural resources, etc., but they've never heard us have these sophisticated conversations. Obviously, I'm traveling around the world. I'm dealing with business people from all around the world, and I have a lot of experience, more experience than any prime minister, first-time prime minister in the history of this country. That means outside of politics. You know, some of them get their little experience in politics, but in terms of real-life experience, I have more experience than all of them combined. So I'll take your second question.
Thank you, Mr. Bean, for that answer. That's very, very, very informative. My next question is, persons here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas have started to get into trading. Persons like myself and a lot of others are having major issues with actually depositing some of the monies that they get through cryptocurrency. And the banks now, they're so inadequate. They don't have enough monies in the ATM, or they are giving persons a lot of the runaround. My question to you is this. Are you interested in us having our own cryptocurrency blockchain for us to utilize our cryptocurrency? And if we are, how is it that we can move forward with the way that our banking system is operating?
Great question. I've been meeting with persons in the crypto area, and we definitely have plans to transform the Bahamas into the crypto capital of the world. And we have the professionals ready. I've had meetings with, powerful people from powerful companies that would actually blow your mind. And they want this to be the crypto capital of the world. It has so much potential. El Salvador did it. They transformed their nation. They allowed Bitcoin to become a actual, real, acceptable currency. And so that changed the game for them. We're going to do the same thing, but we are also going to have our own cryptocurrency that's going to be backed by our natural resources, and it's going to be mined using solar power, ocean power, etc. A lot of people don't understand what crypto mining is, but that's how crypto is created. And China dominated initially because they had all of these alternative energy sources, because the servers take a lot of energy to make it profitable in your mining the crypto and creating it. So we're going to do the same thing. And I think that we're going to have the greatest crypto in the world, because it's actually going to be backed by a country. All right? Not just by some people who you don't know who really owns it. It's going to be backed by an entire nation. And regulated and properly dealt with. And when I say regulated, I don't mean interfered with. I mean because it's decentralization is what the power of crypto. And so, but we're going to make sure that we have a government that can back this to make sure that this thing remains a success. And we want to have the first real stable one. They have things called stable coins, but they're not really stable. But the first real stable one that persons can trade, etc. And so we want crypto ATMs all over the Bahamas. Yeah. And as a part of us nationalizing Bank of the Bahamas, that's going to be a crypto bank. And so we're going to use the licenses that Bank of Bahamas already have, including an international license, to be able to get in the crypto game like FTX did and like Cash App and all of them did. We're going to do it, but with the power of a whole nation behind it. And so those companies made billions. We're going to make much more than that because ours is going to be trusted and it's going to be backed, not just by resources, but backed by an entire nation. And so that's going to change the game. And so now, you know, your American friends, et cetera, they can have Cash App and they can send each other money and spend and have a card connected to it. That's what we're going to have. All right? And that's an easy way that we can deposit your benefits from your natural resources into your wallet, and you can do what you want with it. All right? Now, there's some people who say that, I think the call is gone. There's some people who say that it's going to cause inflation if everyone gets benefits from the natural resources. They keep harping on this $100,000 thing that the PLP created, not us. But they just don't know how to deliver it, or they don't want to deliver it. But inflation won't happen because we're going to be trading in dollars, in US dollars. And there's nothing that can happen in our economy that can affect the price of the US dollar. And so one of the things I am saying that we want to do is dollarize our economy. You will see that the Turks and Caicos does it. They trade in US dollars, and others have done it. And if we trade in dollars and trade our natural resources, everything in dollars, what we do can affect the dollar. You see? It can affect your local currency. They had something called Dutch disease, where countries found oil, and then because of the benefits from the oil and getting rich so fast, it caused massive inflation. But we won't have massive inflation because we're going to dollarize. And so whether we find we don't necessarily want to touch the oil, but the natural gas we can touch because that's safe, or whatever else we do, we won't have the general effect of inflation because we already use the US dollar as our currency. The Bahamian dollar is monopoly money. Let me make this clear for you. Our politicians use it to make themselves feel good, but you cannot go to Miami in the airport and you see the exchange, where they do the exchange in the money. If you give them Bahamian dollars, they can tell you that's monopoly money. You can't exchange that anywhere in the world. It's not real money. It can only be spent in the Bahamas, and only in the Bahamas. So they could say that the same on par with the US dollar as much as they want. It is not. All right? And so it's monopoly money. And so why waste time by saying that we shouldn't benefit from our natural resources because it's going to cause the monopoly money value to go up when the monopoly money can only be spent in the Bahamas? So how the value going up? All right? So that's what we have to consider, and these are the kind of things we need to consider. All right? But that was a very good question, and it took us off from Grand Bahama, but I think it was worth having that conversation over there. So that was an intelligent question. Thank you so much for that. 803-5995. Man, all these thousands of people on here, you know one calling? 803-5995 is the number. And anyone here who wants to say something, you can do that. So we can go back to the Grand Bahama Port Authority, or we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. All right? So 803-5995. All right? So 803-5995. All right, so back to Grand Bahama. I'm going to be talking more about this at our town hall meeting in Grand Bahama, which is going to be on Thursday at 7 p.m. And that's, you know, I'm glad that the church did that. I thank them for their leadership in doing that, calling the leaders of the country to do that. Now, that's kind of a debate. But they have us on separate days, on separate weeks to do it. But I think that we need to get to the maturity level in this country where the leaders of the political parties are able to debate their vision, to let the people know their vision, their stance on certain things. Yeah. I mean, I was so proud of Jamaica. They had debates. They had a series of debates. All right? They talked. They asked them about what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. They crunched the numbers. All right? Okay, we have another caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, you live. Go ahead.
You can hear me?
Yes.
All right, I had a question, man. I've been doing some research on Wyoming's currency. Have you heard about goldback?
Yes.
All right, so what would be our plan in terms of, or is there any plans in terms of, I would say, adopting that kind of currency? Because, you know, one of their gold-backed dollars worth like around about probably like $4.50 US dollar. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I understand what you consider the worth, but something is only worth what someone else would be willing to buy for it. But we need to invest in all of these currencies. There's nothing wrong with investing now. We're going to be hiring professionals to do this, so it's not for the government or me to determine what we invest in, but the professionals are going to look at that and say, okay, this is something good to invest in. This is a good commodity. This is a good currency, and they will determine what they invest in. Now, they'll have limits to how much of our sovereign wealth fund they can invest, but whatever it is that we can make an increase from, that's what we're going to invest in. So there won't be, as far as I know, any limits, but the professionals who've been doing this all their life will benefit from this. Like the person that I had on my show, my live, a couple of years ago, who was from Ernest & Young and other companies, you know, he made, I mean, billions of dollars for these investment firms. All right, and so they know how this thing works and how the market works. So on the face of it, everything is connected, all of the commodities. I want to help you understand this too. In trading, you want to be able to have indicators so you could know what to buy. Buying something new that you don't know how it moves the markets is not necessarily a good thing to trade in. Like they may say, oh, look at this new coin. Let's buy that new coin because it's going to go up. I don't necessarily do that. Certain things are connected. So Canada, the Canadian dollar, is linked to oil. So whenever oil prices go up, the Canadian dollar is going to go up. So if you trade in Forex and you see oil going up, you don't just buy oil, you buy the Canadian dollar. They're indicators. And so you can get an increase from both of them. So the Canadian dollar is going to go up, but you know it's going up because the oil is going up, not just because Canadian dollar is a good thing to buy. You use the indicator. So gold and the US dollar are opposite indicators. Whenever the US dollar is going down, gold goes up. All right? And vice versa. So they're indicators in trading. All right? And this is the sophisticated level that our country needs to go on. They've been doing it to a small level. Sorry, taking you into somewhere else with this, but I just want to let you know, in terms of what to buy, like you mentioned, go back, etc., you tie it to something. So if you see, whenever this happens, Bitcoins go up or down, now you have an educated, it's not a guess, but you have an educated indicator that you can use and say, okay, you see that happening? So I'm going to buy Bitcoin. You see? So US dollar is going down, hey, buy gold. US dollar going up, sell your gold. All right, so that's an example of what I'm saying. So yes, we'll be able to do all of these things, but the professionals who have that kind of experience that I just gave you, they're not just guessing.
Yes.
And there's two types of trading. You trade in fundamentals, which is what I do. Which means that you look at the market and you see certain things, so you know certain things are going to happen. So if Trump says war in the Middle East, then the price of oil is going up. All right, so you trade on the market. You see certain things happening. Apple is bringing out a new phone and it's revolutionary. You buy Apple. That's trading fundamentals. That's called the news. That's a nickname for it. And then it's technical analysis, which means that they read the charts and they know where the market is going based on the charts. So our country needs to now get into this on a big level. You remember when they talked about, and I exposed this, Ministem sold all of the foreign shares that they had with NIB. So they used NIB's money to buy shares, right? In certain companies like, for example, Google, etc. I did a whole live and I showed you the shares they bought and they were owning, but then they sold all of them for some reason. Just got rid of them. But they bought oligarch companies. They were not buy the company, but they bought shares and invested in things like Focal, things like Commonwealth Brewery. They seem to be redirecting monies to their NIB monies to their own companies. So now what happened is Focal buys oil to sell to BPL, for example. But they got investments from NIB. So they're making free money. They're taking our NIB money, and notice what happened. Our NIB going up because of what they're doing. They take our NIB money, buy the fuel to sell to BPL, right? So they making free money because they're in their money. Now, next, BPL borrows the money from NIB to buy the same fuel from Focal. And then we pay in the fuel surcharge to cover both of them.
Wow.
When we end these kinds of rings, then our country can move forward. You understand? And so that fuel surcharge, and the reason it's so big is because they're making the money from it. And so they are paying nothing. Nothing. BPL isn't paying for that oil. We pay in the fuel surcharge. They borrowed it and we paying it back because they added a fee that wasn't there before and making us pay for it. Do you see what's happening? And people want to vote for that. And the FNM and the PLP is benefiting from it.
Man, that's insane, man.
Yeah. So, yes, we're going to invest back to what you're talking about. We're going to invest in a lot of things. And there's a lot of new things coming out, but we're not going to make, with our sovereign wealth fund money, we're not going to take any risky investment at all. It's going to be solid investments, all of them. All right? And so...
Yes. Most definitely, man.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you so
no
much.
new cryptocurrencies, no funny companies with just formed and that kind of stuff. No, they're going to be smart, solid investments. And again, we have the professionals who know exactly how to get this stuff done. We're talking to people from all over the world. So everything we're talking to you about, we've been doing research, not just Googling. We've been traveling and meeting with the professionals in these areas. Some of them we allowed you to see. Some of them we don't want you to see yet because we don't want the PLP and FNM targeting them. But we are ready to govern from day one. Thanks for your call, man.
All right.
All right. All right. That was the second longest answer to a short question. All right. 8035995 is the number. That may be soon out of time. I don't even know how long I've been going. All right. 3? Okay, we got 1 hour more then. But say it again? You had a question? He had to win some case. They asked me if Brave Davis ever won any case. He was a lawyer. He had to win a case here or there, but his major cases that I saw, he lost. Like the last person killed on that row was his client. Last person killed on that row, executed. 90 was his client. Whenever he had those serious stuff, it would normally be a loss. Yeah. So and she's saying with the country still in place 50-something years. I want you to know that those people who've been leading our country, they know everything I've been saying to you. They know it. They know everything. They were lying to you. One of Finland's first speech was a speech about the natural resources, the white gold, the aragonite that was going to transfer and make all Bahamians wealthy. The oligarchs got to him and told him, don't touch that. You better shut up with that, leave that alone. And he left it alone. Never talked about aragonite again. Died and never talked about it. They want to keep Bahamians back. They want to keep us down. The best way for our entire nation to go up is to go up together, to pool our resources. What they want to do is they want to brag about getting some little token Bahamians to do something, working with them, and to say, see, Bahamians are in this, so it's a good thing. No. We want not just the clicks. We want the people to benefit, the way Dubai and Qatar and the rest of them did it. Not just a couple Bahamians. We want all of us to rise together. So, we got another call. Call you live, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Ben.
Go ahead.
So I was listening to the conversation with a caller you had regarding during a time of war, how it is going on and the effects it's having on oil. What would you do in leadership? And I just want to make sure I heard clear that you said that we would trade, right?
That's one of the things that we would do. We would, if you know that oil is going to move as a commodity, then you invest in it. And then you would have the benefits from it. And then you could use the return on investment, which could be instant, because just as you buy, you could sell. You could buy it this morning, and you could sell 2 minutes later, as soon as you've made that money. And you could use that to subsidize the industry for our people. So, for example, you can now say, okay, we made this amount of money from oil going up. We're going to take the fuel taxes down. So whereas on a gallon of fuel right now, the tax might be $3, we can say, okay, we can put that down to $1. And so, or whatever the rise is at the pumps in the Bahamas, we can subsidize it to that amount by reducing the tax, and it's covered. Go ahead.
Now, my next question was, okay, so we can trade. I know you went on and talking about the interest in cryptocurrency. You talk about all that, so you begin to dream big in terms of what we can do when we're in the war, what we could do, and then what else we could do. So what about me who don't want to trade, don't want you to trade my money? What's our option? That's one.
I didn't say you are going to trade. I'm not talking about what individuals are going to do. I was talking about what the government can do as a government. All right?
Okay.
Our sovereign wealth fund can go into trading. All right? Our government can also do that. Like, remember, government took NIB money and they were trading it on the market. Then they stopped.
The $100,000, you would still give us that, even though you're still trading some of our money. So we still get $100,000.
Bahamians are going to benefit from their natural resources. No one has to ask me that again. Listen, I'm answering your question, all right? Bahamians are going to benefit from their natural resources in direct payments to them. Direct. We say a check because it sounds good, but it's not going to be a check. It's going to be direct deposits to Bahamians' accounts from the return on investments.
No, but
and again, one more thing, caller. It's not just from the natural resources. It's from all of the industries that we are going into. All right? So some people might doubt that you can sell enough sand or whatever, but guess what? You know that cruise industry is a big industry. Shipping industry is a big industry. We're going into different industries, and these companies are going to be owned by the Bahamian people, and they're going to get returns on their investment for the different things that we're going into. Go ahead, caller.
Okay, so I get it. So I get some money from the investment, from the $100,000 going to come from the trading of the natural resources. I get that.
Not just the trading of the natural resources, but other companies also that we are going into, like Dubai and Qatar did in this other country. return on all of these investments. And if the sovereign wealth fund is investing our money into, for example, right now they could have invested in the crude oil, and when the price goes up, we would have made a lot of money. The return on investment goes, a part of it goes to the Bahamian people. Not all of it, but a part of it goes to the Bahamian people,
So
and a
you-
part
okay,
goes
so-
to infrastructure and other things that we need
be
to build
clear.
our country.
So the sovereign wealth fund have money in it, is what you're saying, and then you could take the money out of the sovereign wealth fund, invest it in the businesses and different trading programs for us, and then whatever we make or the return on these investments is then we can see the money. Is what you're saying?
Yes, that's what all sovereign wealth funds
So
do,
could I
Kareem.
just get my sovereign wealth? So if the money is there in the sovereign wealth fund, could I just get my $100,000 up front one time and don't be a part of the trading thing?
Say that one more time.
I'm saying to you, if you're saying the money's in the sovereign wealth fund, and I'm saying to you as a citizen, could I then access my money or the sovereign wealth fund before you trade it and do what you want to do with it?
No,
Give $100,000
sovereign wealth
to me?
funds are not intended to work that way. Sovereign wealth funds have a principal amount of money, all right? And that money is invested. A part of that is invested, and monies are made from the investment. And so once the money, like you heard me say, Norway made $280 billion from investing with their sovereign wealth fund money. So now that's the return on investment. The original principal, which is now $1.4 billion or 1.5, is never touched. All right? You don't give people from it. And the reason Norway had to do that is because their population is too big. They have millions of people, so they can't give everyone a check. All right? But other countries like Dubai, Qatar, etc., their population is about 300,000 citizens. Even though it's 3 million people in the country, only the citizens get the benefits. So they can give more benefits. We have 200,000 adults. And so we can do better for our people, and everyone
This
can
is my
actually
last
benefit.
question.
Go
This is
ahead,
my last
Kareem.
question to you.
This is Kareem Hanchil, y'all.
No, this is my last question is, okay, I see you talk about decentralizing, decentralizing money in terms of taking it from the central banks.
No, don't mistake that. I'm not saying that at all.
Okay.
We will still have money. It will still monies and the financial market will still be controlled by central bank, etc. No, we're not decentralizing that. We're saying that cryptocurrency is decentralized currency, which means that you don't have an intermediary, a bank that you have to go through. You can deal directly with your money.
And then could you then share a little bit about your plan about agriculture and energy, please, in terms of during a war, how would you be able to subsidize and to allow us to gain relief versus increases? Thank you,
All
sir.
right. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. All right. So he asks about agriculture during war, et cetera, et cetera. We won't build up agriculture for war. We could build up agriculture because you need to feed yourself, so that when a war comes, it won't affect you. All right. And so that's how this works. We have 700 islands, over 2,000 keys, and we are in 2 temperature zones. We are going to build up agriculture. We're going to do that. That's a guarantee. And so we're going to make that happen. And so we've already started to issue plans. Now we're going to do that. I don't have much time left to go into all of that. And with energy, we're going solar, hydro, and all that kind of stuff. Now, there are people who are asking me about, whether you side with America, whether you side with China, or who do you side with, et cetera, et cetera. People started to ask me that after they saw us meet with Western nations, Britain, America, whoever else. They reached out to us. We didn't reach out to them. First and foremost, I guess they see something in us, and so I'll leave that there. But they're asking, whose side do you take in terms of what's happening with America and that kind of stuff, China, et cetera, et cetera. Let me make this clear to all of you. The side I take is the Bahamian side. First and foremost, what benefits the Bahamas. And so that's the side I take. Now, because they talked about the Bahamas going to CARICOM and they're going to they're going to vote with Cuba and vote for Cuba, etc. Hold the line, call. I'll be right with you. Just give me 1 sec. Now, I want to make you understand something about this China argument, etc., etc. If there's a hurricane in China, that don't necessarily directly affect us. If China goes to war with Taiwan, that don't necessarily directly offend us. Any war could affect the markets, right? But if a hurricane hits America, that affects us. If Florida get hit right now, we can't eat. So let me make this clear. Whether I like you or not, if I'm in the car with you and someone starts shooting a gun at you, I got to defend the two of us. If I drive in the car, I got to take actions to protect you because you're in the car with me. If I in the car and someone starts shooting at you and you drive in the car, buddy, I shooting at them. And so we happen to be in the car with America. America is right there. And we're dependent on them. And so if you talk about having to side with some country on the next side of the world, I know one thing. America right there. And if they are crushed, we are crushed. Because our politicians up to this point have not made us interdependent. Independence is garbage. Interdependence, which means countries need countries. The reason America and China is not fighting is because they need each other. All right? But in terms of understanding my thinking with that, listen, they are in the car with us. You understand that? And so I don't think I could explain that any better than that. So don't ask me about Iran and China and Russia and all these other people. I'm not in the car with them. And so that's kind of where my thinking is. It's not about whether I like you or not. I understand what's the benefits for my people. Now, they feel we should side with Cuba for this reason or that. They say Cuba provided us nurses and teachers, etc. They did not provide us anything. We paid for that. We paid for that. All right? And so they didn't give us any charity as it relates to that. And so let's not get that twisted. All right? So this government that is getting chummy with all these funny countries, no, my brother. All right? I'm in the Bahamas. And I happen to be in the car with America and Turks and Caicos. Caller, you're live.
Good day, Mr. Ben.
Good day.
I live in the Marathon constituency.
Yeah.
And I don't see none of your candidates running up in this area, man. This campaign more than your MPs them ain't trying to get on the road, but I don't want to lose this fight with the FNM and PLP. We got to start doing this. That just so that your MPs them start moving, please, man. Tell them.
Thank you.
Even if they just want to see their face, just come around. You can't do the same thing what PLP and FNMs keep doing to the people. Walk around, show your face.
All right, let me help you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Let me help you understand how this works, my brother. I'm in Pinewood. I can't speak for every individual, but I'm in Pinewood, and I have 52 corners in Pinewood, 52 streets. If I do one a week, that takes me a year. Normally when you go out in one evening, you only could get one corner done because people want to talk. You know, you can't just walk straight to the corner. And while I'm in one side of Pinewood, the people in the other side of Pinewood don't know I'm there, so they don't think I'm there because I don't post every time I go. But I've been walking. Be patient, they'll get there. I can tell you that the candidate in Marathon has been walking from last year at least. And he is there almost... He has been there almost on a daily basis, and I think right now he is there on a daily basis. He walks every day, right? Yeah, he walks 5 days. Sorry, he walks 5 days a week, okay? So some people in here who walk with him, they're actually here. So eventually he'll get to your house. But listen, this ain't just about, because it's difficult to see 5 to 7,000 people in a short period of time. Yeah, and so
Even if he have a town, I don't see no headquarters, office, no nothing there.
in Marathon. Yeah, all of them are working on their headquarters, etc. But like I said, you're gonna see them. All of them are working right now. All of them are walking, but it takes time to get through all of the constituency in a meaningful way.
I ready to give my donation to the party. I
Thank
don't
you.
want PLP to win.
Amen.
We can't do this no more.
Amen.
The same way Sir Lyndon Finley leave this country, it's the same way it's still going on with this country.
Yes.
So we need a change, sir. And you're the only one with making sense in this country right now. The rest
Thank
of them,
you.
I don't know what people want to bother with Michael Pinter because he's the same thing as PLP and he's the same thing. We have the biggest problem in our
All right.
country. One more thing, sir.
No rush. Go ahead.
Our biggest problem in our country, the people like to say Bahamians don't like to work. But everybody knows common sense is cheaper labor that they're trying to put on everybody. All the food stores, all the stores is just cheaper labor. We need to do something with the immigration problem. All the construction site, I'm a contractor, and only people working is foreigners. The Bahamian people stop working. I don't know for what reason. Maybe because it's really cheap labor. Could you address that part of it for me, sir? The cheap labor and what we're going to do with these immigrants in this country, sir?
I'll address that, but one of the persons who campaigns in Marathon is here. She just wants to address you. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, good evening, sir. How are you?
Talk straight in the mic.
Great. I can hear you.
Yes, listen, tell me where in Marathon do you live?
Up and down Norwich Estate.
Oh, my Lord, mister, I don't been up there and listen, yeah. I raggy down Norwich Estate, but guess what?
So we get but 40 people in one corner and everybody pulling for you or whoever coming in this area. I don't care who it is. I just can't stand to want no PLP back in this neighborhood.
And listen, that was exactly the first response we got when we walked through. We have already walked the whole marathon. Okay, we already walked the whole marathon, and this is our second lap. And right now, we are where are we right now? We on Village Road. What you call that now? Burnett. Yeah. We almost in Burnett Road, but listen here, be still, because I come and tell me, listen here, if you want to give me a number, I can give you a call, and I'll come to you tomorrow.
You ain't got to worry about this. You ain't got to worry about this vote. This vote is secure. This one's secure. We have to worry about the other set of people who we need to get over to get away from the FNM and PLP.
Listen here, on a scale from 1 to 10, the response we got in Marathon, on a scale from 1 to 10, we're looking at 9.5.
Well, I'm with you.
Yeah.
You get mine. Zero ifs and no buts about that. I all the way with anybody who running with Mr. Lincoln being, I down with him because it's time for a change. The country need to go forward.
Listen, I met a 92-year-old man on Friday, and you know they ain't had to change.
Right.
And that man said to us, him and his whole family was in the house. And they were so happy to see us. We doing it. And that gentleman said to us, Mister, say you think with all of these different people we see around here, say you think we can let them get back in? Say you think they would change the July 10th from us? Say, I don't want that to happen. We got to go to the poll and vote for Mr. Lincoln Bean and the COI.
We have to. We cannot do this over and over again. Like, we ain't got no sense behaving people. It's like we ain't got no sense voting PLP and FNM, but they're playing games with us.
Trust
the
me,
country's not moving forward.
Their eyes are open. Their eyes are wide open. And trust me, it's going to be a great surprise. You just hold tight.
One more thing to Mr. Bain. One more thing to Mr. Bain.
Okay,
I like how they talking all the items what Mr. Bain was speaking about. They want to bring it forward now. So it tells you he is really on track with what was going on. He is really hip to the country, what the country really needs.
All right, thanks for your call, caller. I'll answer your question about the immigration and what's going on with that right
You're the
now.
best, Mr. Ben. I don't care what. I all the way with you, sir. I don't care. And I 72 years old. I going with you.
Wow, well, you sound so young.
Yeah, I gotta keep myself right.
All right, thank you, man. So he asks a question. He asks a question about the fact that all of the jobs are going to the foreigners. Bahamians can't get jobs, etc. This is what usually happens when you have a lot of unchecked immigration. Eventually, they're going to be the persons they're going to start out as cheap labor, and then they're going to take over. This happens on a world scale, you know. And so Britain used America as cheap labor and slaves and et cetera. Everything was going on there. They used them, but eventually America became the superpower. China was used as cheap, almost slave labor for a long time, and now China is a superpower. If you let the people come in and they have all the jobs and all the opportunities, they are eventually gonna have all the jobs and opportunities, and they're going to take over. And so, yeah, eventually they're gonna take over. All right, and so that's what's happening in the Bahamas, and now the foreigners are bragging that they have all the money. They're bragging that they're buying houses cash. They're doing it all over New Providence now. They're buying the houses cash. And you can't afford the houses because they're not going to rent to you, so those houses are coming off the market. That's why you're paying $1,500 for one bedroom. All right, and that's in a low-end area. The Bahamian public knows one thing. The COI is going to fix this. And so there are some people out there saying the immigration thing is so bad, you got to vote. You got to vote the PLP out and put the FNM in. The FNM is worse. Like, I don't understand what their psychology is. It doesn't make sense. Some of them are saying a vote for the COI is a vote for the PLP. Are you crazy? A vote for the FNM is a vote for the PLP. A vote for the PLP is a vote for the FNM. And so Bahamians need to wake up and stop getting swing every time. I heard someone say, oh, it's so bad. The PLP just got to go, man. Let's just get rid of them. Don't worry about no COI this time. The PLP just got to go. But isn't that what we just said about Minas? Before that, didn't we say that about Christie? We keep doing that, and we get no better. So you could put Pintard there? Think about that. Pintard? A puppet for the oligarchs? Let's go to phone lines. Caller, you live. Go ahead.
Hello?
Hi, caller, you live. Go ahead.
Yes, hi. I don't know. I'm not sure whether or not you heard what the last caller said, the gentleman. He mentioned that all of the ideas that you have and the vision that you have, and you were telling the people, the two parties are now telling it to their constituents and their people. I think you missed that. That went over your head.
Yes, it did, because it was loud in the studio, so I couldn't hear him at the one part.
Yeah, he said apparently what you have been telling the people are true because now they're seeing it. They going right back over the same things that you're saying. The other two parties now are making plans or acting as if this is what their plans are, when originally it came from you.
Yeah. Well, they realize that the people are resonating with what they're hearing me say, and so they're trying to repeat it, even though they're not going to execute it. They're not going to do it, you know, and so they're going to water it down. And so I heard Chester Cooper on a show talking the other day, and he is talking about how we're going to benefit from tourism and how we give grants to the people to do their little. It's a lie. Why didn't you do it over this 5 years? You know, they just hearing what they hear me say, and they're going shopping with it. Pintard is doing the exact same thing. And so, but the people realize it. And what it's doing is it's legitimizing us. Because people realize, hold on, if they are copying Lincoln, why don't we just put Lincoln in?
Wow.
Because like Dr. Miles always says, the copy can never be as good as the original.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
you know what
so
is so
one
sad
of the
to say?
reasons people say, why do you put your ideas out there? I put some of them out there and I only put a certain amount of it. I don't put how to execute it out there. But I put it out there because when they come and repeat me and repeat what I'm saying, they, who you've been trusting, they are showing you that you should be listening to me. They're showing that what I am saying is doable because now they're just repeating what they heard me say. But the problem is they don't know how to get it done. We know how to get it done.
There you go. There you go.
All right, thanks for your call.
You're welcome.
All right. Like I say, we're talking to the experts, we're getting experience, and I have a lot of life experience that people don't know or understand. And much. She said I look better than them. So she ain't safe. She said I'm smarter. Call you live, go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Bean. How you doing?
Awesome.
Good. Yeah, I've been listening to the live, and the guy who just said that the other parties are copying you, right? I just want to say, the FNM was campaigning in my area the other day.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me the little booklet thing to show their ideas and their plans, right?
Yes.
So I said, man, I'm a 35-year-old man, and it's the same thing I've been seeing from 1994 when I was a kid. I see all of the other thing plan, like for the Bahamas or whatever. So one guy was like, oh yeah, if our candidate get in, she could be she'll be a minister. So that means now whatever money Abaco make, we'll keep half of it. Keep half of it here. He's like, hold on, that sound like Mr. Bean idea. He been this place for what 4 or 5 years now. Don't know Mr. Bean falling in pink pin time. I said no. I know better. And in any event, I end up asking if they can let us benefit from our natural resources and everything. So they just keep saying, man, just let us get in. We can show you. We can fix the road. Light. I said, we put air but no road. We don't have no air about benefit our natural resources. What y'all gonna do? And that costs on. They jump and they can't on.
yeah, that's mini me, Michael Pintard. Mini me.
And one thing, right? This is one question I get.
Yes.
I'm screen recording the live, okay? So when you want to screen recording this and send it to us, the check for the woman, did she ever cash the check?
No check has been cashed up to this time. I went to.
I hope.
Yeah, I went to the court on the 12th to address some things, but the registrar has put kind of a muzzle on the whole thing, and so I'm going to leave it there. I could say that the lawyers are being professional at this time, as far as I know. The other side's lawyer has been professional up to this time. I don't know what else is going to happen moving forward, but they've been professional up to this time. But again, I say to the public, and this is all I can say about that, that's a private business matter. No one accuse anyone of stealing anything from anyone. That's an investment, and investments go bad. The place burned down, and that's what we were left with. I'm sorry that everyone was hurt in that whole thing, including other investors, but that's a private thing. And so if that's all they have on me, then I feel good. All right?
Good.
All right, that's all they have.
I just hope that other people because you have some people who come in your life with ill intentions. So some people come and then just watch a little piece and then they'll go and say, oh, Lincoln, and he was talking about it, he didn't answer the right question. That's why it was so...
Okay. Awesome. But I'll tell you this. You can't compare me to Philip Brave Davis. Philip Brave Davis his record is horrible. Michael Pintard's record is also horrible, because I will tell you one thing. That murder for hire situation, he should not be hired by the Bahamian people right now, getting paid from us. in any serious, legitimate country, Michael Pintard could not be the leader of any political party. That's not an investment deal gone bad. That's a man who was a senator at the time and the chairman of a political party sitting with murderers. On tape, they're telling him that they murdered people. Also on tape, they're saying that they were paid to murder some more people. And in the midst of all that, he said, okay, I'm going to give you $500,000 each for this, whatever the situation is. And what is that? Money laundering? What is that? That's murder for hire? What is that? What is this $500,000 each for? And so that's a serious problem, and in no other country would that have been allowed to happen. But only in the Bahamas would this kind of stuff be allowed. And if the only thing that they have on me is that me and some other people invested in the business and it burned down, and they say I should pay them back personally, and I challenge it. If that's all you got on me, then okay, so be it. I'll take that. They ain't say I thief $1 from the company. They ain't say I rip off BEC or customs, or they can't bring up nothing. They, the government, they have all the files. They can see everything. They can't tell you I owe this or owe that, NIB, whatever. How come they can't say none of that stuff?
Or smuggling drugs.
Yeah. They can't say that I smuggle in 200 kilos of drugs or my boat being used for it. Well, you know what? I think we need to talk about that for a second. I think you need to screen record what I'm about to say. All right. Oh, Lord, phone ringing off the hook now. Caller, hold the line for a sec, please. We got some house cleaning to do. I want you to understand that Marvin Dames is pretending to not know nothing about this drug thing on the boat that is in his name. I have all the documents, all right? All the documents on the boat is in his name, et cetera, et cetera. Marvin Dames is playing possum. He's playing pretend. That situation where the police officers and defense force officers and others were arrested and they were on trial, one has already been convicted. I want you to understand something very serious about that went over people's head. They said that the officer claimed that $2 million was paid to someone in government. I want you to know that investigation, that particular investigation, because it really started before that with another man called Ruka. But that investigation, you are listening? Started in May of 2021. Who was the Minister of National Security? Marvin Dames. So that's the first little... Marvin, you was Minister of National Security when that started. And so now you're hearing about this situation. The reason that despite this situation, the FNM cannot tell Marvin to sit down is because Pintard and them was desperate for money. All right? That's why they couldn't do certain things. And I am told that a lady, a foreign lady who lives in the Bahamas, who Marvin Dames had also taken to see the feds, and she had talked about Sabas and Adrian, the stuff that's in there, that she gave money to the FNM a few months ago. And so the FNM got this little boost from the money she gave, and so now they can't get rid of Marvin. So ain't nothing they could do. And that's why Marvin have all this hard mouth, because he's getting the money from this woman. I know her name, but I ain't going to call her name. All right? Y'all go look in the files and y'all will see exactly who she is. All right? And so, well, we ain't saying she do nothing wrong. We're just saying she gave money to FNM. So her name is Karen Silverman. All right? And her and Marvin are very, very close. Very, 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 very close. All right? And so instead of them dealing with Marvin, they can't, because that's the kind of corruption. You had the same corrupt mindset, You had the same kind of situation where When Pintard got caught up in the murder for hire situation, Minnis had to still let him run because Pintard's connect was Fred Smith and Louis Bacon. So Louis Bacon was pumping money into the FNM through Fred Smith. And it was happening through Pintard, who was the connect. All right? And so even though Pintard did whatever he did, they still had to let him run. They couldn't really get rid of him because the money, what they needed, was flowing. And so they just needed to survive. All right? And so I want you all to wake up and see what's going on in this country. All right? And so always watch the money. And then you'll understand what's going on. All right? Watch the money. Let's go to the phone lines. I think we lost that one. Oh, call you live.
Hello, hey, good night.
Good night.
Yes, this is Brian Roll, the COI candidate for Golden Isles.
Hey, Brian. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Just to piggyback on that previous caller who spoke about needing a door hanger on his door. Well, when I came home the other day, I met a door hanger from the FNM on my door, and I'm just looking at it, like, it says one team, one mission. A new generation of FNM leaders is ready to work to make your life better by, 1, eliminating VAT on essentials and healthy food so you can keep more money in your pocket. I mean, isn't this just ridiculous? Weren't those the guys who implemented VAT?
Not implemented, increased it.
No, who took VAT higher? Now, number 2, investing in our future, building hundreds of new homes, training our youth, and growing new
Hold on,
industries.
before you go forward, also on that VAT thing, if you vote for the FNM, and I don't want no one crying if you let the FNM get in. If you vote for the FNM or the PLP, you're going to have income tax. And I'm preaching that to you. And if you don't listen, you're going to feel. Income tax is going to destroy what's left of the Bahamian people. We're going to be destroyed. Go ahead.
Yes, it says here, growing new industries. What new industries have they grown? Number 3, delivering.
Someone says cocaine.
Number 3, delivering world-class health care, no matter your income or island. I mean, these people really think Bahamians are really stupid. Number 4, supporting your business dreams, cutting the red tape, and modernizing government services. Like, really? Number 5, cracking down on crime and illegal immigration, making it safer for you to live, work, and raise a family. Wow. And the last one, exposing secret deals and corruption. No more wasting the people's time or dime. I mean, it's just sad that these people really take Bahamians for fools. Like, we are so illiterate that we cannot see and witness what's going on in our country. Now, being the candidate for Golden Isles, I am not having a conversation. Personally, for me, I would like to see a new fire station in the Southwestern District. I would like to see a nice clinic in the Southwestern District. I'd like to see another police station in the Southwestern District. It's alleged that the murder that we had in Adelaide, it's alleged that if that gentleman had gotten quick health care, he could have survived. I mean, in the Southwestern District, our communities doesn't even have fire hydrants. If your house was to catch a fire, first of all, it's going to take a while for the fire truck to get there. And then number 2, in most cases, the issue always is the lack of water. And these are the conversations that, those two parties, those two representatives for Golden Isles are not having. These are things, these are the core issues that where it really matters to our people.
Yeah.
And the people of Golden Isles. This is Brian Roll, associated with the Coalition of Independents, with a leader like Mr. Lincoln Bain. We are visionary leaders. We are the ones who are going to take this country to the next level. And all we are looking for is your support, because we have to do this together. Like Mr. Bain said, it's all about inclusion also. our Vision 2030 plan, it was left open so the citizens can, add to, come up with their suggestions and their ideas before we draft the final copy. So people, again, change isn't coming, change is already here. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for your call, man. Appreciate that. Oh, the phone's still going. Call you live. Go ahead.
How you doing?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Ben. Hey, God bless you, number one. But listen here. I just got.
Turn on your TV. Turn on your TV.
You're right. That's what I'm doing right now. Oh, Jesus, Lord.
Or just don't listen to it. Just listen to the phone.
Right now, hey, Mr. Ben.
Yeah.
The guy who called you earlier was 72, right?
Yes.
And he sounded young to you, right?
Yes.
And I'm 71. I'm ready. I just, he's, I try to get the TV off, but
Don't worry about that.
I live with 4 cats, and they all over the place just doing foolishness, unplugging my thing. But I cut the TV off. Okay, what I want to ask you, right? What I want to ask you is this. This election coming up, right? The election's coming up. Somehow we can't stop the Haitians from voting. You agree with me?
No.
We can't stop them, right?
We can't stop them.
No, they're gonna vote, right? And they're gonna vote PLP. Okay. Sorry, what she said?
No, no, why? But I just talk. Just talk.
Don't say that. I mean, these are facts.
No, man. Just make the point. Just make the point.
Yeah, everybody is scared of this, man. They have us remember there are 12 million of them, and Philip Brave Davis is flying them in as we speak. They don't come on sloops no more. You understand that? This is what the Bahamians are afraid of. If it was a regular election, like every 5 years we go, we would win this. You would be the next prime minister. But right now, under these circumstances, we have these people flying in right now. There's a vote against me right now. Right now. Where I live. In Golden Isle, say, I'm here. What do we have to counteract these things? These come on. A guy can't even speak English. He can vote. He been here last week. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
This is what I'm seeing out here. And can you speak to that? How we gonna? What? We need Donald Trump to come in here and stop this foolishness.
You need who?
Donald Trump.
No, we don't need Donald Trump. I hear. Be straight.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. That's all I want to hear. Because this election coming up. They say we are outnumbered. Are we?
We're not outnumbered yet in terms of citizenship. We're outnumbered in terms of them being here with legal papers, work permits mostly. But by the next election, we will be outnumbered. We're not outnumbered this time. But we will be outnumbered by next time.
I want to get off the phone right now because I just trying to put my mind at ease. So you're saying this election will be like a regular election?
No, some of them will vote. But I think that Bahamians are waking up and Bahamians are willing to put party aside to save this nation. Just like you. They say the older people are stuck in their ways. Look, a 71-year-old man called. You called, or 72, you're 71. And you're not stuck on the PLP and FNM. You understand the urgency. And I believe that many, many Bahamians understand the urgency and they're going to vote out the PLP and the FNM.
Okay,
I believe that.
I can
I have faith in my Bahamian people that they understand the threat and they are not going to vote for the annihilation of their children. And if they do vote for it, then you get what you deserve.
I fly to Miami.
I got to run, my brother.
No, but one more question.
Go ahead.
My God, while you're talking, I was listening, but I had a question in my mind. The situation is the same. We're going to vote just like, okay, here's my point. You know, we have 50% PLP. We have 50% FNM. That's the Bahamas, right?
No, I don't agree with that.
Okay, thank God. I thought it was because the Haitians come up. They can be the society vote. You see what I'm saying? If you got 50% over there, 50% over here, the Haitians show up. They will determine the direction of the Bahamas.
The Progressive Liberal Party got 34% of the vote of the registered voters in the last election. They do not have anywhere near 50% of the vote. They don't even have a mandate. All right, 34% is nothing. All right, and so if they had 50% of the vote, they would have gotten much more than they did. But I gotta run. All right. All right. All right, the phone's still ringing, but I can't take the more calls. We've been going for so long, and I'm curious to see what they cooking in the back there. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to make a serious stand. It's time for us to do something about this country. All right? So caller, I can't take any more calls. I think we've done it for today. It's time for us to do something about this country. We got to stand up, and we're calling on you to unite. We're calling on all Bahamians to unite. Whether you're black Bahamian or white Bahamian, we're calling on you to unite, to make sure that this country does not go to the dogs, to make sure that we can have a better country for our children. We are going to empower you as a people. That's not a promise, it's a guarantee. You just got to vote for it. We're going to empower you, because that's how we're going to empower our family and our friends, not through corruption. We can empower everybody. Because when we empower you, the whole nation is going to be better. The whole nation is going to do better. Because you have something inside you that God sent you with for us. But in many instances, you can't do it because you're stuck on a job somewhere. You're stuck with debt. You can't do what that real gift that you have. And so we're going to change that. We're going to fix this country and get rid of the corruption. That's our promise to you. All you got to do is vote for change. Don't let them fool you with that old trick. They'll just swing hard to the FNM now and then swing back hard to the PLP, because every time they're so bad for the country that you say, oh, this one got to go. Just get rid of them. Don't vote for no one else. They just got to go. No, both of them got to go. Because both of them have failed us. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see real change, it's time. But all I can say to Philip Brave Davis, let's go, Brave. You know what to do. Ring the bell. And then come stand on the stage with me in a national debate. Let's hear what you could do for this country. Because what the PLP and the FNM has promised this country, they did not deliver. And we don't believe anything that they are saying. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's time for a new Bahamas. It's time for Bahamas built from the people up, not from the foreigner up, not from the politician. It's time for a Bahamas built from the people. So, Philip Brave Davis, let's do this. Let's do this. It's time. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. We had so much more to talk about, but that's all we could do for today. See you next Sunday, same time, same place, right here. Election is in May, based on what we're hearing. So we need everyone to get on the ground. If you're going to come and help us walk, find your candidate and come help us walk. I walk every Monday at 5, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday now at 5. And so if you want to join me, meet me at Pinewood headquarters every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5. We know that's traffic time. You might get there a little late, but just meet us on the ground, or that's when we normally organize. We really leave around at 5:30, but be there for 5 so we could get organized and get out there. We got to win Pinewood. How much of y'all know they want Pinewood? They want Pinewood. I put one big sign up on the roundabout in Pinewood. They park all kind of big truck with PLP on it on the park to go kill the grass. But listen, trucks and signs don't win elections. People win elections. And if the people of Pinewood, after going through all they've went through with the PLP, vote for them back, then if the people of Pinewood bring the FNM back that we just got rid of, that did all this to us, I want the people of Pinewood to understand that the PLP and FNM own our back homes. Not Frankie and Tommy. The PLP and FNM, they're just the face of those companies. All right, doing the party's bidding. The PLP and FNM did that to us. And they make us suffer. They will not put the proper drainage in there to solve that problem. Because they feel you can vote for them anyway. Either you can vote for PLP, get mad with them, then vote for FNM. Same people, still our homes. But we are going to fix every single house in Pinewood. That's not an election promise. We're going to make our homes pay for it. I've been saying that, and I can say it again. If you living with your roof falling in, our homes can pay for that. That flooding problem, that is going to be fixed. It's only $10 million. Frankie, you will pay that. Our homes can pay for it. Government ain't paying for that. Because we lose again. If the FNM and PLP did that to us and then making the taxpayer fix that flooding problem that they made all that profit from, we lose again. No. Our homes can pay for that. That's a guarantee. And so the people of Pinewood, you know I can stand up for you. You know I'm going to fight for you. I am on the streets. I've been walking. If I haven't gotten you yet, I'll get to you soon, or just call me and I'll come to you one-on-one. But I'm going to be out there every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We love you. See you on Thursday at 7 p.m. God bless.